Hi, welcome to video number 27. Today, we're going to talk about Balaam's donkey. Balaam's donkey can be found in the book of Numbers, chapter 22, verses 21 through 35. The reason that I bring up Balaam's donkey is because I personally have had a lot of experience with people speaking to me that didn't seem like they had a whole lot of wisdom, or that their life was all together, or anything like that. In fact, in working with the homeless, I have seen God, I believe, and I'm pretty sure it's true, God speaking through those individuals to communicate a message that I had a question about when I was in prayer myself, or that I needed to hear. And so without further ado, I'm going to read something that a friend of mine sent me that he believes in the story of Balaam's donkey also, and he ran it through AI, and this is what AI had to say. The story of Balaam's donkey, found in the book of Numbers, chapter 22 rather, verses 21 through 35, is one of the more striking and at first glance unusual episodes in Scripture. Yet beneath its surface is a profound lesson about humility, perception, and the ways in which God works in the world. Balaam was a diviner summoned by King Balak of Moab to curse the people of Israel. Though Balaam set out on his journey with a sense of purpose and perhaps confidence in his own spiritual insight, the narrative quickly reveals a deeper truth. Balaam does not see as clearly as he believes. As he travels, an angel of the Lord stands in the road as an adversary to him. Balaam, however, is blind to the presence of the divine messenger. His donkey, by contrast, sees what Balaam cannot. 3 times the donkey veers off the path or halts to avoid the angel. Each time Balaam reacts with frustration and anger, striking the animal for what he assumes is stubbornness or disobedience. Then, in a moment that is both startling and deeply symbolic, God opens the mouth of the donkey and she speaks. "What have I done to you that you have struck me these 3 times? The donkey's words are not merely miraculous, they are corrective. They expose Balaam's lack of awareness and call into question his certainty. Only after the exchange does God open Balaam's eyes, allowing him to see the angel standing before him. The reversal is complete. The one who presumed spiritual vision is revealed to be blind, while the humble animal becomes the vessel of truth. At its core, this story challenges assumptions about where wisdom and insight reside. Balaam, a figure of recognized spiritual authority, fails to perceive the divine reality directly in front of him. The donkey, lowly, overlooked, and without status, perceives it clearly. The message is not simply that God can work through unexpected means, but that human pride and self-assurance often obscure our ability to see what is real. There's a lesson here about receptivity. Balaam's initial response to interruption is irritation. He assumes that the obstacle in his path is a problem to be overcome. Yet the obstruction is, in fact, protection. How often in our own lives do we react similarly, treating delays, frustrations, or disruptions as nuisance, rather than pausing to consider whether they might be guiding us, or even saving us from unseen harm? The speaking donkey serves as a powerful symbol of divine freedom. God is not constrained by human expectations, hierarchies, or norms of communication. If necessary, truth will emerge from the most unlikely of sources. This should instill both humility and attentiveness. Humility, because we are not always the clearest interpreters of God's will, and attentiveness, because insight may come from places we would otherwise dismiss. The speaking donkey serves as a powerful symbol of divine freedom. Finally, the story underscores a deeper theological point. God's purposes are not dependent on human capability or status. Whether through a prophet, a circumstance, or even a donkey, the divine will finds expression. What matters is not the apparent worthiness of the vessel, but the openness of the moment and the necessity of the message. In reflecting on Balaam's donkey, we are invited to reconsider how we listen, how we interpret obstacles, and how we discern the presence of God in our lives. The story asks us to remain open to the unexpected, the inconvenient, and even the absurd, trusting that meaning and guidance may come in forms we do not anticipate. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds us that seeing clearly is not simply a matter of knowledge or position, but of humility. Only when Balaam's eyes are opened does he recognize what was always there. The same invitation extends to us, to look again, to listen more carefully, and to remain receptive to the many ways in which God may be speaking, even through a donkey. And I have myriad experiences with this. I've had God, and I'm going to stand on it. I don't care what anybody believes or thinks. I've had God speak to me through songs on the radio. I have had God speak to me through billboards. Like I said, I've had God speak to me through homeless people. I've had God speak to me through people in the church. I've had God speak to me through people in Alcoholics Anonymous that had a lot less time than I did. And the key word here is humility, to understand that I don't know it all. And that's okay, as long as I'm receptive to the voice of God. That's the key, being receptive to the voice of God. And I'll leave you with this, and then we'll cut it short tonight. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. This is a famous quote from William Shakespeare's Hamlet, Act 1, Scene 5. Spoken by Hamlet to his friend Horatio, it argues that human knowledge, science, and philosophy are limited and cannot explain all mysteries, wonders, and supernatural phenomenon in the universe. Thank you. And as always, I pray that you will have a deep revelation of God's ever-present presence. That is, I cannot overemphasize how important that is, because it colors my world, and it gives me both comfort and caution. And the second thing, I earnestly pray that God gives you a deep revelation of how dearly he loves each and every one of you that is watching this video. In fact, everybody on the planet Earth. He has a deep love for everybody on the planet Earth. It doesn't mean that we're all going to be in right relationship with him. In fact, I'm working hard for it. I am definitely working out my salvation with fear and trembling, or in fear and trembling. Anyway, the truth is murdered in a multiplicity of words. And good night, and may God richly bless you.